In the book I was listening to this week by one of my favorite authors, he related a study that kind of proved people tend to walk in circles. Not we intend to, but that's just how it happens. And my understanding is the study was conducted in a very wide open flat space. And the participants were told to walk in a straight line, but there was nothing on the horizon to set your line of sight on. So people thought, well, I'll put one foot in front of the other and I'll definitely walk in a straight line. Well, when they got their GPS data, most of them went in a circle of up to 20 meters and they thought they were walking straight. So what does that tell us? We need to have a point in the future to focus on. And I've done some studying on being your future self now. So this is kind of related to that and how it applies to our health. It's not a goal setting video. It's more of a future self video looking back and trying to help yourself today. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Chip. This channel is CP59 Fit, Unconventional Healthy Living Strategies. I had a major stroke that almost killed me in 2015. Now it is 2025, so I'm approaching my 10-year anniversary. I'm much closer to my 60th birthday. So yes, I'm one of them old farts, whether I look like it or not. But the biggest criticism I get on my looks is that I don't look healthy. And the more I've studied this, the less I know what healthy means. I think it's a very personalized thing. But anyway, I've had a loose target this past 10 years to get healthy. And after probably the last 5 years of learning, I had made some major mistakes in the first 5, where I gained almost, I guess it was about 50 pounds, which put me 60, 75 pounds overweight, which is where the 59 came from in the name. Anyway, there should be a little red, white, and blue button over in this corner. And maybe not on a TV, but on a computer or a cell phone, mobile devices, they call it these days. You should be able to see a little red, white, and blue button, and you can click on that. And I'd really appreciate it if you join me on this journey. That will subscribe you to the channel. There'll be a little bell beside it if you want to be notified when I put videos up. That will let you be the first to know. And I'm going to try to put them up on Wednesdays and Saturdays each week. That's my commitment to getting the information I've learned out. So basically, my understanding of this study was if you have no aim, you're certainly going to hit it because you just walk in circles. And sometimes when you do nutrition science research, walking in a circle seems to be the most likely outcome because, one year eggs are good for you, the next year eggs are bad for you, the next year eggs are good for you again. Then they come up with some other thing where they ask people every 4 years what they ate and then how they got sick, and they determined that because some white male probably, or female, I'm referring to the nurses and the doctor studies, so those are generally upper middle class, traditionally white cohorts in this country anyway. And they asked them to tell them what they ate for the last 4 years and what diseases they developed. So that's how they determine if eggs are good or bad for you. So if you don't remember what you ate 4 years ago, much less 4 hours ago, then you could be influencing our nutritional guidelines because of these faulty studies. So that's kind of what I've been digging through the last 5 years as I've gone from trying keto to probably more of a ketovore to a carnivore. And I thought I was moving back towards ketovore, but I actually think I'm moving more towards what they call the lion diet, which is ruminant meat, salt, and water. I'm going to talk about that in a later video though. So this one is determining where you're going and how you get there. Because if we just walk in circles, we're busy but not productive. Kind of like most government workers these days. Well, they're not so busy anymore if they're all getting laid off. But I think that might be the reason they're getting laid off, is it appears they tend to walk in circles also. So anyway, my point, my dot on the horizon has been to get this channel monetized. That takes 1,000 subscribers, hence the reason I asked you to push the button. And it takes 4,000 watch hours in a rolling 365-day period, so in 1 year. And if I have 1,000, that's only, 4 minutes a person? I only have 170, I think, as of today. So again, I'm going to ask you, if you want to help me achieve my goal so I can help more people achieve their goals of living an unconventional, healthy strategy to improve their living, please subscribe and please watch at least 4 minutes a year. I know I got some that are doing way more than that. With only 170 subscribers, I do have about 2,700 watch hours in the last 365 days. So I'm not that far from watch hours, and I have a friend in Minneapolis, or I think it's Minnesota. I don't think she's in Minneapolis, but not far, to thank for that. Only that I have recently found out that YouTube may not give you credit for additional watches from the same IP address. So I appreciate you running the playlist, but it may or may not be contributing as much as we think it is. And that was a little hack that some friends of mine had said they would do for me. And I appreciate it. I'm just afraid that the AI may be smarter than I am. But ultimately, my goal is to get this channel monetized so that I can change lives. Then I heard another story about Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple. And did you know that he got fired from his own company once he got it built up? But he got rehired in 11 years when they had almost killed it. In the 11 years, he had started Pixar and animated Toy Story, which made him a billionaire. So he left as the founder of Apple and came back when they were, I think, in debt, millions or billions of dollars, and had like 70 products. So he looked at it and said, well, which one should I recommend to my friends? And nobody in the company could tell him because, well, it depends. Do they need this? Or are they business or the what? And he's like, no, we're cutting 80%, which is a common theme that I have mentioned before. Getting rid of 80% to let the 20% do its job that's actually doing something for you. So he turned it around in 2 years, and they made like $1 billion the next year with 4 products. I think 2 for business owners, the Apple computer and the Apple iPod, I think it was called. But anyway, by getting rid of, if he got down to 4 and he had 70, that was 66 products. I don't know the percentage. I'm not going to do it off the top of my head. But I do want to say that was defining his focus, and you need to define your focus for health. And anything that doesn't contribute is probably harming you. You know, if I were to go to a lion diet, it would be a modified version, because I probably am addicted, but I still like to have a piece of sourdough toast, and I like my Diet Mountain Dew. I have given it up for 2 weeks when I was in Pennsylvania. It wasn't so easy to get there, so I said, okay, I'll give it up. But then I got back into Sheetz territory, which is a convenience store in this area, where it's about $1 and I can get a 100-ounce jug full of it. That used to only last me a day. Now I think I'm stretching it to 2 days. So I went to the store today to get some eggs, and oh my goodness. Even at Sam's Club, 2 dozen was, I think, $10.74. So that is over $5 a dozen. Aldi's got them for $4.97. But Food Lion has had 73% ground beef on sale this week for $3.49 a pound. And being as frugal, I'll call it wise, but it's really frugal, as I am, if I can get a whole pound of hamburger for less than I can get a dozen eggs, I'm definitely getting the pound of hamburger. So I got I think about 5 more pounds of hamburger. I had bought 10 pounds at Aldi for $3.99 a pound, which is still cheaper than a dozen eggs. And I cooked all that up. Some of it's in the freezer because then Food Lion put the sale on, I guess, last Tuesday, and I got here last Sunday a week ago. I've been at this house just over a week, and I hope that this setting is appropriate as a background. But anyway, you sometimes have to maneuver along the path to get to your goal. I do like eggs, and I just don't like paying $5 a dozen for them. So I'll probably be eating a whole lot more ground beef. But I did buy a pound of, they didn't have the regular sausage, a pound of Italian sausage, which I think has some spices in it. But I'm going to mix that with 3 or 4 pounds of hamburger. Then I'm going to get the pellet grill going up on the screened-in deck and cook me a bunch of hamburger patties to have in the refrigerator for this next week. So this will go up on Wednesday. I think that'll be the 2nd of April. And then I'm going to kind of do a series. We can't walk in circles. What is an elimination diet? Why should you do an elimination diet? Types of elimination diets, and go on down that path as long as I can make the series work. Videos are doing better than they have been, so thank you for being here. I'd appreciate your comments down below, and don't forget the subscribe buttons over there if you made it this far. And if you've made it this far, thank you very much. I appreciate the 12 minutes of your time. God bless. Bye-bye.